Hi, this is Jason, a product specialist at Redcourt Software. Today I'm going to show you how to download, install, and set up Virtual TimeClock Pro Edition for Mac. In order to get to our website, navigate to www.redcourt.com. When you get to our website, you're going to find the download link at the top of the page. Go ahead and select Download and Virtual TimeClock Pro. After reviewing the system requirements, go ahead and select Download. After you find the file, go ahead and double-click it in order to launch the installer. After you close the installer, the next window you're going to see is the Virtual TimeClock Welcome window. From this window you can select a sample company and view sample company data. We're going to go ahead and select New Company. Enter your company information. Enter an administrator and administrator password and select Create. So your new database was successfully created. From this panel you can select a setup guide, or you can import users from a CSV file or QuickBooks. We're going to select Add Users. Go ahead and enter your user's first and last name. When you're done adding your users, go ahead and select Save and Close. This is the Configure Users window. As you can see, Grace Jones is our time clock user. She will be prompted to create a password the first time she clocks in. Let's go ahead and look at the other configuration features of the time clock. To set employee overtime calculations for time cards, let's go ahead and select Overtime from the Configure window. There are 3 default rules already established for you within the time clock: daily and weekly, daily only, and weekly only. If you'd like to see the details of each of those rules, simply click Modify Rule. Let's go ahead and assign users to the daily and weekly overtime rule. Save changes. And let's go back to the main configuration panel. In order to set what program rules are in use for your time clock, including what interface employees will use to clock in and out, let's select Display Groups from the Configure window. You can see that for Display Group Time Clock users, we have our assigned user. The interface is the In-Out Board 1 list. There are additional options available to you within the Pro Edition. Although most users accept the default actions, you can customize user and manager access to the program's features by selecting User Actions or Manager Actions. Let's return to the main configuration window. If you have a need for employees to have different tasks and jobs that they can clock in and out of without having to actually stop their time on the time clock, go ahead and select Activities from the Configure window. That the default activities is in. You can also add additional activities by selecting Add, and then you can assign display groups to be able to access those activities. Let's return back to the main configuration window. In order to set when your employees get paid and to configure electronic time card approval, go ahead and choose Payroll Settings from the Configure window. Set your payroll frequency. We're going to leave ours at the weekly setting. You can set your payroll start date here. The second date is going to automatically populate based on your payroll frequency selection. On the right hand side you can see we have electronic time card approval. You can simply check these boxes in order to turn on that functionality. Additionally, you can set which payroll company you use if you happen to integrate with one of these payroll services. After everything is correct, go ahead and click Apply. Let's return to the main configuration window. In order to set how total hours should be calculated and displayed on your time cards, go ahead and select Time Settings from the Configuration window. In the Configure Time Settings window is where you'll set what day your work week starts, and also address rounding. The time clock is going to record exact times for punches in and punches out. However, for purposes of time cards and printed reports, you can select no rounding, rounding to tenths of an hour, which is every 6 minutes, or quarter hours every 15 minutes. Once everything is correct, go ahead and select Apply and return to the main configuration window. In order to set the rules for how passwords will be dealt with, let's select Security from the Configuration panel. In the Configure Security window, you're going to see that the password for an administrator is on by default. There are also some minimum security rules. If you select Require Strong Passwords, all of these attributes will apply to every password within the time clock. Let's return to the main configuration window. Lastly, let's go ahead and select Backup Schedule. In order to ensure rapid recovery in case of a data loss, let's go ahead and set up a backup schedule. After selecting your schedule, you'll want to set up a backup folder location. We recommend not putting the backup on the same computer that the primary time clock is currently running on, because if you have a data loss, you could lose both your primary and your backup data. We recommend maybe using a thumb drive or some other type of media that is separate. Go ahead and click Apply after everything is correct, and then return to the main configuration window. Congratulations, Virtual TimeClock Pro is now set up and ready for you to use. Go ahead and close the Configure Virtual TimeClock window. This is the main Virtual TimeClock Pro administration window. You'll know you're in administration when you have a series of icons across the top of the screen. You can turn administration on and off by going to the File menu. The first icon that you'll see on the top left is the entry editor, where you can add, modify, or delete entries, followed by Add Entry, where you can add manual entries, followed by Add Leave, Reports, Export, Payroll Approval, a place to enter the messaging service within the time clock, a place to conduct a backup of your time clock data, and Configure, where you can return into the configuration window. This is the screen that time clock users will see when they first approach the time clock. All they'll need to do is select their name. If you'll recall, Grace needs to create a password for the first time. This is a password that she'll use each time she clocks in or out. This is the user status window. Now all she needs to do is start work. Thank you for watching this video. For additional resources, please visit our website at www.redcourt.com.